Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to talk about the slide technique, which is a great technique that I use for the double strokes. I like this slide technique for different reasons compared to other techniques, double strokes techniques. The first one is because it allows me to keep a good tempo, a good timing with the leg motion, because it is a technique that involves the ankle, but it's mainly injected from the leg motion, and we'll see this in a minute. And the second thing that really makes a big difference compared to all the other double stroke techniques is that it allows you to have the same amount of power and volume for each stroke that you're going to play. So let's see exactly what the slide technique looks like, and then let's break it down and understand how to work on this. So as you can see, it's a great technique for double strokes because it allows you to play two strokes very close to each other, but we can also apply this for single strokes, keeping a continuous motion. Let's see how. Okay, so as you can see, clearly the name slide technique comes from the fact that the foot, it's literally sliding on the board, on the pedal board, to maintain the pedal swinging. So even if I just keep the ankle relaxed and move my leg in front and backward, I can see that the pedal will start having a constant swing. And then if I add a little bit of ankle stroke, ankle motion, then here I start to have the strokes going. And of course the same thing happens with the double strokes, but I just stop with the leg motion on the second stroke. So breaking this technique down, the way we want to start working on it, first of all, we usually have 3 steps for techniques, which is working without the pedal without the spring, and then the final approach, which is the pedal with the spring. But in this case, the spring has a big role, so we might skip the part with no spring or put it after we've learned the technique, just to make it more accurate and work on having it down perfectly. So let's see the motion without the pedal, how it would be. So let's start keeping the leg and the foot in a natural position, very relaxed, and then we'll start to have to do an upstroke with the leg, and in the meantime we play a tap on the lower part of the pedal with the ankles, so something like this. So while we raise the leg, we'll go backward with our foot, playing a tap with the ankle, and then to play the second stroke, we just go down with the downstroke of the leg and keep the foot back in the initial position. So in this way. So we have to make sure that we play the first stroke with the tap with the ankle motion, and then the second stroke with the weight of the leg completely. And if we want to keep this as a continuous motion instead, we won't close the motion with the just letting the leg fall as we do for the double stroke, but we will keep this going with a tap of the ankle. So we will keep the ankle going like a heel up, but we'll do an extra leg motion. But this, in my opinion, is just more effort, more physical effort to do, and I just prefer to use heel up for that reason. It's just less effort, less muscular fatigue, and less muscles involved. But you know, this can maybe have more power than just the heel up. So it really depends on what you guys are using this for. So once we have this down, the first motion down, we can start applying this on the pedal, and we will skip the step of not having the spring for the reason that I was telling you before, because the spring has a big role in this technique, because it's the one that will allow us to actually play the taps. So when we're on our pedal, once we've learned the physical motion, the mechanical motion of our body, how they should work, let's apply them to the springs. So first of all, we have to figure out the settings of the pedal, make sure that we're comfortable on controlling the pedal just with the ankle, and that it's not too tight, so too fast for our ankle, or too slow. But actually, to learn this, maybe you want to lose the spring a little bit so that the pedal doesn't have a lot of rebound and it's not too hard to practice in this and learn this. But once you get comfortable with the pedal setting, let's break it down, break the motion down, and understand how this works. So we'll start in a natural position, just laying the foot completely on the board, and then we apply what we just did. So we will play the first stroke with basically doing an upstroke with the leg and going in the lower part of the pedal with our foot, playing a tap with the ankle. And then once we're here, we'll just go back in an initial position, letting all the weight of the leg fall. So we might have hard times in starting this, because we will maybe start playing directly against the tension of the spring, because of course the spring tension, it's something that we have to deal with. But if we look at what happens in the motion slowly, when I start the motion, what happens is I slightly press the beater down, so that then I have already a motion in the pedal going. So I don't start from here and just squeeze down, but I have this little moment of pressing down and then playing the stroke here, so that the pedal has the time from here to go back, and then I can play the stroke with the ankle. So it's important that we work on this a little bit, because if not, we will find ourselves just doing something like this, where the pedal doesn't collaborate with us. Instead, in this way, there's an extra motion before the first stroke that allows me to play the first stroke, and then the second one, it's pretty easy because it's just letting the leg go with the leg motion. So as you can see, it's a very loud double stroke, especially the second stroke. Instead, with the heel toe, for example, to have the same amount, not even the same volume and the same amount of power, I have to press a lot. I feel way more physical work. Instead, with the slide technique, I feel way more power, more comfortable, less tension, less stress in the muscle. So I think it's a great technique for that reason. And then once we learn this and we figure out the double stroke, we can start working on keeping the single strokes going. So basically the heel up that I was talking about before, but then sliding the foot on the board and keeping the pedal swinging, the pedal going. I don't feel like this can be a technique very useful for speed, because of all the motion that is involving the legs and the leg has to do. But it's for sure more powerful than just the heel up. So if you maybe have to do multiple strokes in a groove, this might be This might be better than just the heel up, so that you don't have two different volumes between the leg motion and the ankle motion of the heel up. And then the very last step would be getting rid of the spring and work on making the motion perfect. And we will have to put less power and like control the weight of the leg a little bit when we don't have the spring, because if not, there will be too much rebound to control and it will be just uncomfortable doing this. But let's see the double stroke without the spring, how it would work. So we will start keeping our foot raised on the board and then playing the first stroke going all the way down here, and then second stroke in that way. So and then to keep a continuous motion, same thing as I was just saying before, we'll keep the ankle motion going and we'll help the motion with the legs. So in this way. And then of course we will repeat everything with the left foot. So we will start from learning the motions, then applying them to the pedal with the spring. Then we'll get rid of the spring and master it down without the spring, so that we make sure that everything is perfect and we're in full control of these motions and this technique. And then we can put them together, alternating the double strokes. Okay, and keep as a main reference the leg motion. So it's like if we're playing single strokes, but then we'll add a tap with the ankle motion. So as you can see, the leg motion stays the same and we just add a tap. But we'll talk about how to apply this in the application lesson, which will follow. But once you got this mastered down and you're in full control of this, you can really choose how to use it. Again, I prefer it just for double strokes. It's just more comfortable, more powerful, very fast, allows me to keep a good timing. But as we always say, once you have this, you can really apply it and work on it how you guys prefer. So hopefully this helps, and have a good practice, and I'll see you next time.